A few days ago, we told a story about a female ghost searching for her husband. Today, I want to tell a story about a living person stealing a ghost to be their wife. This story is one I heard in a rural area of northern China, where many elderly people enjoy telling ghost stories. Long ago, there was a young man named Li Ming who was always single. He made tofu, preparing it at night, and selling it at the market early the next morning. One morning, he got up very early, in the dead of winter before dawn, carrying his tofu stall. Halfway there, he came to a grove of trees and saw a light shining from within. Looking into the distance, he saw a house. Curious, he muttered to himself, "I've walked this road for years. It's worn out, but I've never seen a house here before." So he went to investigate. When he reached the house, he found the door ajar and the windows wide open. Through the windows, he saw a kerosene lamp burning inside, and under the lamplight, a quiet, beautiful girl sat weaving. The more he looked at her, the more mesmerized he became. The girl turned her head and saw Li Ming standing outside the window. She quickly and shyly got up and closed the window and door. Li Ming had no choice but to go back to selling tofu, feeling dejected. But he couldn't stop thinking about the girl all morning. At noon, after selling his tofu, he went home and passed through the woods, wanting to go back and look, but he couldn't find the house. It was strange. The house seemed to have vanished into thin air. Back home, he was still thinking about the girl. He wondered if she was a ghost in the desolate woods. But then he thought, the girl was so quiet and gentle, and the light was on, it might not be a ghost. The next morning, when he went to sell tofu, he passed by the house again and found it had reappeared. Just like the day before, the girl was sitting by the window weaving. From then on, Li Ming got up even earlier, just so he could catch another glimpse of the girl as he passed by. One morning, after watching a performance, an old Taoist nun with a cane sat by the roadside. The nun said, "You've been spying on that little girl every day. Have you fallen for her? Want to marry her?" Li Ming replied, "But I'm poor. I'm not good enough for such a lovely girl." The nun said, "Let me tell you, that girl is half human, half ghost. Would you dare marry her?" Li Ming said, "I'm dirt poor. Marrying a half human, half ghost would be enough." Later, the nun said, "If you really want to marry her, I'll tell you a way. Tomorrow morning, before dawn, come here with a sack and a rice ball. Go straight into the house. If the girl is so frightened that her mouth opens, quickly stuff the rice ball into her mouth, then put her in the sack and carry her home." Li Ming did as the nun said, and indeed, snatched the girl home. Once home, he sealed all the doors and windows, as the nun had said, to prevent sunlight from getting into the house. And so, the girl married Li Ming, and even made him go to the woods at night to carry back her loom and her bundled boxes. 10 months later, she gave birth to a son for Li Ming. The couple worked together, one selling tofu and the other weaving cloth, earning a living. They lived a decent life, the only difference being that she never went out during the day. One day, Li Ming's wife told him that a landlord on East Street had gambled away money and was now selling his shop. She urged him to quickly raise the funds to buy the shop and open a tea house or something similar, as that would be profitable. However, Li Ming said he didn't have enough money and couldn't raise that much immediately, and opening a tea house wasn't guaranteed to be profitable. His wife asked him, Do you want to sell tofu your whole life? I still have some hairpins and jewelry. Sell those too, and find someone to help you raise some money. Buy it before noon tomorrow. If you miss this deadline, you won't have such good luck. Li Ming listened to his wife and scraped together the money, eventually buying the shop and opening a tea house. Unexpectedly, it became incredibly successful, business boomed, and the family of 3 lived a good life, moving there together. Later, their son grew up and got married. Li Ming and his half-human, half-ghost wife aged like normal people. His daughter-in-law didn't notice anything wrong, except that her mother-in-law liked to stay in the back building and never come out. One day, it was raining heavily. Li Ming's wife went downstairs to help tidy up the dried goods drying in the yard. Halfway through, the rain stopped, and the sun was about to come out. She hurried back inside to return to the back building. Just then, a window at the corner of the stairs, which had been blown open by the wind, let in a beam of sunlight that shone on her feet. She immediately froze, like a zombie, clinging to the wall, motionless, her eyes closed, and never woke up again. Her son and daughter-in-law, thinking their mother was dead, knelt on the ground weeping and prepared for a funeral. But Li Ming forbade it. He bought a coffin and placed it in the back building, putting his wife inside and forbidding his son and daughter-in-law from entering or telling anyone. Several days passed peacefully. Then one night, several thieves, eyeing Li Ming's wealthy tea house, planned to rob them. That night, they broke into his house, tied up Li Ming and his son and daughter-in-law, locked them in the kitchen, gagged them, and ransacked the place for money. The 3 of them in the kitchen heard a lot of noise outside, including the sound of fighting. The next morning, a neighbor came in and helped find Li Ming and the others. After untying the ropes, they went outside and found that the thieves from the previous night were tied up to the willow tree in front of the door. Li Ming poured water on them to wake them up and asked who had tied them up. The thieves were still trembling with fear. One of them said, "Last night, when we went upstairs to rob something, a female ghost suddenly emerged from the coffin. She had disheveled hair, grabbed us, and wouldn't let go. She was incredibly strong. None of us could defeat her, and we couldn't escape. Finally, she tied us to a willow tree and blew on us until we were unconscious. Then we knew nothing more." Li Ming, upon hearing this, was moved to tears. He went back upstairs, hugged the coffin, and cried, but no matter how much he cried, he couldn't wake the ghostly wife inside. This story shows that if you are genuinely good to a ghost, she will help you make money and do favors while she has the life of a ghost, and even after she dies, she will still guard your door. This shows that humans have humanity, and ghosts also have their own kind of loyalty.